Our planet is a beautiful illusion. We look at the land and believe we know Earth. But the vast majority of our world is shrouded in permanent, crushing darkness.
Just below the surface, the warm light of the sun begins to quickly fade away.
Beyond the reach of light lies the deep ocean, the largest habitat on Earth.
It is a mysterious realm, far more alien to us than the surface of the moon.
In this midnight zone, the water pressure is immense, capable of shattering solid steel. The temperature plummets, hovering just barely above freezing in the absolute pitch-black cold.
Yet, down here on the barren, sandy floor, life refuses to surrender to the dark.
In this abyss, creatures do not just survive. They invent entirely new ways to exist.
Without the sun, animals are forced to become their own source of illumination.
Bioluminescence, a silent, glowing language spoken by millions of species in the dark.
Flashing neon colors serve as warnings, as camouflage, and as irresistible, deadly lures. On the ocean floor, ancient scavengers tirelessly patrol the endless, muddy plains. They are the great recyclers, moving slowly to conserve their precious, limited energy.
Food is incredibly scarce. They wait patiently for anything to fall from the world above.
When a whale dies, its massive body slowly sinks into this dark, hungry void. This single meal is a monumental event, triggering a frantic frenzy of deep-sea feeding.
A single whale fall can sustain a bustling deep-sea ecosystem for decades at a time.
Further down, in the deepest trenches, the very rules of biology are completely broken.
Volcanic vents violently erupt, spewing superheated, toxic gas straight from the Earth's fiery crust.
Volcanic vents violently erupt, spewing superheated, toxic gas straight from the Earth's fiery crust.
Volcanic vents violently erupt, spewing superheated, toxic gas straight from the Earth's fiery crust. Volcanic vents violently erupt, spewing superheated, toxic gas straight from the Earth's fiery crust. This boiling environment should be a barren wasteland. Instead, it is a vibrant oasis.
Giant tube worms and blind crabs cluster around the searing heat of the black smokers.
They thrive not on sunlight, but on the invisible power of raw chemical energy.
It is absolute proof that life will find a way, even in the most hostile conditions.
Moving away from the heat, the ocean once again returns to a freezing, silent void.
In a world of perpetual night, deception becomes the ultimate weapon for hungry predators.
The terrifying anglerfish hovers motionless, waving a glowing bioluminescent lure in the pitch black.
For a passing fish, that tiny light in the dark is an irresistible, deadly trap.
Deep-sea predators are built for a life of extreme patience and extreme scarcity.
Expanding stomachs and unhinging jaws ensure that once caught, absolutely no meal escapes. The bizarre vampire squid deploys a spiked, cloak-like web to defend itself from unseen attacks. But the true giants of the ocean are not permanent residents of this crushing depth.
The massive sperm whale is a visitor, holding its breath to dive into the abyss.
They plunge into the dark to hunt, relying entirely on sound to find their prey. They search the crushing depths for elusive, legendary creatures, like the colossal squid.
Epic battles between these giant titans happen in the dark, unseen by human eyes.
The victor returns to the surface to breathe, leaving the deep ocean to its secrets. Millions of bizarre species remain undiscovered in this massive, unexplored volume of water. Breathtaking, alien forms of life are drifting peacefully right beneath our very feet.
Every single expedition into the deep yields new mysteries and completely new species.
It forces us to realize how little we actually know about our own blue planet.
The deep ocean remains a majestic realm of darkness, extreme pressure, and biological magic.
It is our planet's final, untamed frontier, holding secrets we are only just beginning to uncover. As we ascend back towards the light, we leave this alien world behind in the dark.
A silent, hidden empire that will continue its ancient dance for millions of years to come.
We do not have to dive into the deep ocean to find truly alien worlds.
Sometimes, we just have to look closer. Much closer than our natural eyes allow.
In a single drop of water, an invisible, bustling empire is constantly thriving in silence.
This is the microscopic realm. A chaotic, beautiful universe happening right beneath our very fingertips. It is a strange place where the familiar rules of biology begin to completely break down.
In this stunningly detailed microscopic world, the green algae provide cover, but cannot. The amoeba is a shape-shifting predator, consuming its prey by slowly wrapping entirely around it.
It has no brain, no eyes, and no mouth, yet it hunts with ruthless efficiency.
Entire biological wars are fought and lost on a battlefield smaller than a grain of sand.
But the undisputed titan of this micro-universe is the extraordinary, eight-legged water bear.
Also known as the tardigrade, it is perhaps the most resilient creature on planet Earth.
It has successfully survived all 5 mass extinctions that wiped out the world's larger animals. It can easily withstand the freezing, deadly vacuum of space without any protection whatsoever.
It survives extreme radiation and can go for decades without a single drop of water.
When conditions finally improve, it simply wakes up and continues its slow, peaceful grazing.
At this incredibly small scale, the laws of physics feel entirely different to these creatures. To a microscopic organism, liquid water behaves less like a fluid and more like thick honey.
Even the smallest dust particles hit with the devastating impact of crushing, jagged boulders.
Yet, it is within this chaotic scale that the most important biological process constantly occurs.
Cells divide and multiply in an endless, rhythmic dance that sustains all living things.
This simple act of cellular division forms the absolute foundation of all complex life on Earth. From a single microscopic egg, trillions of specialized cells work seamlessly together to build a human.
Inside your own body right now, microscopic white blood cells are aggressively hunting down dangerous invaders.
Billions of tiny neurons are firing electrical signals, allowing you to hear these very words. But there are darker, much more sinister forces at play in the microscopic realm as well. Viruses, existing on the very edge of life, hijack living cells to endlessly replicate themselves. It is a brutal, never-ending microscopic arms race that drives the evolution of all species. In the grand scheme of the planet, we humans are vastly and overwhelmingly outnumbered. For every single human being on Earth, there are trillions of invisible microscopic entities living alongside us. They shape our atmosphere, control our weather patterns, and tirelessly break down all of our waste.
They even live deep inside us, helping us digest food and fight off deadly diseases daily. We are not just individual creatures walking the Earth. We are walking, breathing ecosystems.
Without the constant, unseen labor of this microscopic workforce, all larger life would quickly perish.
They build the very foundation of the global food web entirely from the bottom up.
It is a humbling reminder that the smallest things often possess the greatest true power. All of this dramatic, ruthless existence is happening right now inside a single drop of morning dew. As we zoom out from the invisible, we find ourselves surrounded by the immense visible world. But nature is rarely peaceful for long. The environments on Earth are constantly, violently shifting.
From these microscopic havens, we must now travel to the most unforgiving extremes of the planet,
where the world is carved not by invisible cells, but by relentless, crushing ice and freezing wind.
The frozen extremes of the Arctic test the absolute limits of biological endurance and survival.
Here, energy is the most precious resource, and a single mistake means certain, freezing death.
To survive the ice requires extraordinary adaptation and a ruthless, ancient instinct to hunt.
Welcome to the Frozen Tundra, a kingdom of silence.
We have left the microscopic realm behind for the most hostile environment on planet Earth. The profound silence here is deafening, broken only by the violent destruction of shifting glaciers.
The polar regions are the planet's vital cooling systems, holding ancient, deeply frozen secrets.
A thick layer of blubber and incredibly dense fur are the only shields against death.
The apex predator of the ice, the polar bear, silently navigates this freezing white desert.
It must remain incredibly vigilant, for deadly danger is constantly waiting right above the surface.
Out on the frozen sea ice, a ringed seal rests nervously near its crucial breathing hole.
The ice suddenly erupts in a violent clash between a massive predator and elusive prey.
This time, the seal narrowly escapes into the freezing, dark safety of the deep ocean.
The exhausted bear must quickly try again, as its precious energy reserves are dangerously low.
It suddenly wakes, listening intently to the faint scuffling sounds buried deep below the surface. With a massive, calculated leap, it dives headfirst into the deep, powdery, frozen snowdrift.
Beneath the surface, a complex labyrinth of icy tunnels hides the smallest, most vulnerable prey.
In this frozen kingdom, every single hunt is a desperate, exhausting battle for daily survival. To survive in this frozen wasteland requires extraordinary physical adaptation and endless, brutal biological endurance. In the brutal winter, temperatures violently plummet, and the sun disappears entirely for many months.
The massive sperm whale is a visitor, holding its breath to dive into the abyss.
In the frigid waters below, highly intelligent hunters patrol the ever-shifting maze of sea ice.
Epic battles between these giant titans happen in the dark, unseen by human eyes.
Using synchronized movements, they violently create a massive wave to wash their prey into the sea. It is a breathtaking, terrifying display of raw intelligence and coordinated, highly deadly teamwork. A coordinated pod of orcas works perfectly together to locate seals resting on isolated ice.
During the brief polar summer, massive giants arrive to feast in the newly melted waters. The skies above fill with millions of migratory birds rushing to breed in the warm sun.
The seasons are shifting unpredictably, completely confusing the ancient rhythms of every single creature living here.
As the planet unnaturally warms, the very fragile foundation of this frozen kingdom is fracturing apart.
New life frantically emerges, racing against the biological clock before the brutal winter quickly returns.
It is our planet's primary cooling system, and it is flashing a dire, unmistakable global warning.
It is a silent, beautifully haunting reminder of our planet's magnetic connection to the harsh cosmos. But this ancient, deeply frozen world is currently facing a threat unlike any other in history. As night finally falls, the sky ignites with the breathtaking, magical glow of the northern aurora.
The incredibly delicate balance of life that clings to the edges of the ice is severely threatened.
The frozen tundra is not just a distant, completely isolated wasteland at the top of the world. Animals are tragically forced onto crowded, dangerous shores as their floating, frozen homes rapidly disappear forever. Without the protective, reflective ice, the dark ocean violently absorbs even more heat from the burning sun. The ice is rapidly changing. Massive glaciers that have stood for millennia are suddenly weeping.
If the ice completely vanishes, the entire planet will heavily feel the devastating, unavoidable ripple effects.
Every single step is carefully calculated to conserve precious heat and prevent breaking fragile ice.
We leave the silent, starving ice behind for a ruthless world of overwhelming heat, humidity, and chaos. A biological battleground where every single inch of available space is viciously contested by relentless nature.
Welcome to the deep jungle, a humid, chaotic biological engine of life, intense competition, and ancient secrets.
It is a merciless biological battleground where every inch of space is violently, constantly contested.
They house more than half of all living animal and plant species discovered on our planet.
Rainforests cover only a tiny fraction of the Earth's surface, yet hold extraordinary, boundless biological wealth. Down on the dark forest floor, life operates entirely in the humid, unseen, suffocating shadows.
Fungi act as the hidden nervous system of the jungle, breaking down death into vibrant life.
A silent, vast network of microscopic roots and mycelium perfectly connects the entire ancient forest.
Millions of leafcutter ants march in endless, highly organized columns, harvesting the dense green canopy.
They do not eat the leaves, but use them to farm massive, subterranean fungal gardens.
In the lush canopy above, predators and prey play a deadly, high-stakes game of survival.
Camouflage has been perfected over millions of years, making deadly hunters practically invisible to unsuspecting prey.
Others choose not to hide, but to boldly advertise their incredibly toxic, deadly chemical nature.
A single brightly colored frog holds enough potent poison to easily drop a massive, heavy predator.
Toxins are weaponized, and biology is pushed to its absolute, bizarre, and terrifying evolutionary limits. Death strikes in a fraction of a second, snapping out violently from the dense green shadows.
Even the plants are deadly killers, evolving intricate, inescapable traps to digest careless, wandering insects.
Once trapped inside the slippery, sweet-smelling pitcher, there is absolutely no hope of escape whatsoever.
The undisputed king of the American rainforest moves completely silently through the dense, tangled undergrowth.
The magnificent jaguar is a phantom, a perfect apex predator built for incredibly powerful ambushes.
It does not fear the water, willingly diving into dark, muddy rivers to hunt massive reptiles. Here, giant serpents grow to terrifying lengths, capable of squeezing the life from large mammals.
High above the terrifying forest floor, life flourishes safely in the sunlit, breezy upper canopy.
Their deafening, territorials as echo.
Brilliant flashes of red and blue feathers cut sharply through the monotonous, endless sea of green.
These highly intelligent birds form lifelong bonds, relying on complex social structures to constantly survive.
But the defining feature of this incredible ecosystem is the massive, sudden arrival of water.
The jungle physically breathes, creating its own chaotic weather systems from the immense, rising humidity. When the heavy rains finally fall, they arrive with devastating, overwhelming force and terrifying volume. The forest floor quickly floods, temporarily transforming the dark undergrowth into a chaotic aquatic world.
Every single creature must adapt instantly to the sudden, violent deluge of fresh, falling water.
Just as quickly as it began, the torrential storm violently passes, leaving rising, thick steam.
The jungle rapidly absorbs the precious water, fueling another massive explosion of dense botanical growth.
It is a chaotic, perfectly balanced engine of life, constantly destroying and rapidly rebuilding itself daily.
The sheer density of life here is unmatched anywhere else on the entire, beautifully diverse planet. It produces the vital oxygen that sustains us, pulling massive amounts of carbon from the sky.
These vast, humid forests are the lungs of the Earth, absolutely essential to global biological survival.
Yet, much like the melting ice, this ancient, perfect biological machine is currently under brutal attack. Thousands of acres are violently cleared every single day, permanently erasing millions of undiscovered species. When the mighty trees are removed, the complex, fragile ecosystem completely collapses into dry dust. The animals lose their ancient homes, pushed entirely to the very brink of devastating, permanent extinction.
We are rapidly destroying the greatest biological library on Earth before we can even read it.
If we lose the jungle, we lose the very beating heart of our beautiful, fragile planet.
From the vibrant, humid chaos of the jungle, we must look upward to the ultimate unknown. Beyond our protective atmosphere, a violently beautiful universe of crushing gravity and burning stars awaits.